Today, I want to talk about how I've overcome procrastination and perfectionism to finally start posting on YouTube consistently. So, as with, I'm sure, many kids, teenagers, adults, whatever, I've really wanted to do YouTube for a long time. I've started doing YouTube videos and then I've stopped. I've started and then I've stopped. And now I believe I've, to some degree, cracked the code for how I can finally start being consistent on YouTube. So I've got a few steps here. Some of the stuff has come in useful from before when I'd attempted to start YouTube, but realistically, even if you are at day one, like you're purely just dreaming. I mean, I am essentially purely just dreaming. But where do you get started from now? The advice I'm going to give you is very useful if you are literally clueless. If you're clueless and perhaps you failed, perhaps you're thinking of giving up on this ambition you have, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you either figure out that maybe this isn't for you or that it is for you and how you can actually make it work for you. Okay, so the greatest piece of advice I've got for you is lower the threshold for what you think you need to do to make YouTube videos. I'm a perfectionist. I'm a procrastinator. I use it to avoid anxiety. Excellent. That might be you. It's quite a difficult reflection to figure out for yourself. But I have perhaps you relate. But the perfectionism is seeing everyone else do really fantastic things, or perhaps you see something and go, well, I just want to do it properly. I want to do it to the absolute best of my ability. And perhaps some of that is just you don't want to fail. You don't want to look like a dick. Like, what's the point in putting up this video just for no one to care about it because I haven't jumped through the appropriate rings to make it work? I personally have thought about and spent time Googling cameras, video editing software, format of YouTube videos, possibly every single thing I could think of other than filming a YouTube video that I thought would help me. You need to bring it all the way back down to basic, okay? Forget all this fancy stuff. Just forget it. You've got a camera, you've got an idea, you've got a voice. If you've got internet connection, you're good to go, okay? Lower that threshold. Lower it. If that camera's ready and set up, you should be able to just knock out some content in a few minutes. This will probably barely get edited, if at all, and then just get it up there. And that is an okay place to start. Sure, as you progress, sure, but there's no point worrying about doing hoop 1, hoop 3, hoop 3, hoop 3, hoop 4, hoop 5, and so forth, if you fundamentally can't actually do a video with just hoop 1, okay? So just start out. Some of the best advice you'll get in life is you are ignorant to how great a goal is for you relative to lowering the threshold of that goal. So, for example, okay, just like another example would be if you really need to start like losing some weight at the gym or you just need to get fitter, if you can actually just like cut down your drinking to like not a lot for a month or just stop eating like crisps and chocolate, that is a massive success. And you need to see this, my advice, as a equatable goal to that. Okay, good. Number two, what are you offering and what is your value? Okay, so it's not just looking at the camera and waffling on. Okay, if you're going to be on YouTube, you've got to have some value to offer somebody. Okay, reasonable. So don't just pick up your phone and start going, oh, my free tips for weight loss are track your macros, make sure you not chew your voice, chew your food. It's just rubbish. Okay, you don't have to have loads of fancy skills and loads of experience to have an opinion, but just offer something of value. Offer something, a perspective. It might even be a commentary on someone else's point of view, but just offer something that you think, oh wow, this matters. Someone out there might not see this point of view, and now they finally can because of me. For me, I think cutting through the noise and perhaps being a bit more critical of what's going on, and certainly through the lens of my experience, which is just overthinking, you need to reduce things, you need to focus on what you're actually good at, I think is useful. Perhaps you do too. So you've got there, point one, cut out all these extra tasks. Point two, focus on what it is you're bringing to the table. Point three is now consider as well, why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do this? So for me, I think that for a significant period of time, a lot of all the things that I wanted to do were because largely I wanted to be successful and I thought I needed to be successful. But imagine, right, you're a billionaire, you haven't got to work a day again in your life. Now, what do you do with your time? That is a really, really, really big existential question and crisis that you're faced with, because you don't actually have to do anything. There's no struggle for you anymore. But if you're going to be on YouTube, you need a better reason, I think, than just, well, because it'd be good. So then where you're at now, if this is an issue for you, you either need to accept, oh, actually, I don't really care for this. I don't really care for this. Or, and this is kind of what I've had to, and this is what I've done, is I've really had to evaluate why I want to be on YouTube. For me, fundamentally, I actually, and this is very simplified, and it's not as pleasant as I'm making it out to be, but I like helping people. I like seeing people improve, grow, transform, reinvigorate their life, okay? That's what I am trying to bring to YouTube. And that is a purpose to make videos. And I'm trying to persist with that purpose. Perhaps a billionaire in one of his many mansions, it'd be plausible to think the same thing. Like with philanthropy, right? I'm going to try and cure polio or whatever, or wipe out the mosquitoes. It's having a purpose. I'm also happy to be wrong about that. Some people do just get the work done. But given if you're going to be on YouTube, you're probably going to be doing it in your spare time. I highly doubt it's going to be something as organized and done with the diligence of like an actual working job. My thoughts, but if you need to reevaluate why you've even got this goal, that could be a avenue worth pursuing. Okay. Number 4. Now this has been an issue for me to being on YouTube, and that is overcoming commitments. Now, something I see online again and again and again is as I just see creators or successful people, and they just talk about how hard they can work. That is really how they overcome their commitments. They just get it all done. They have a huge bandwidth, a huge capacity to get things done. I don't. I'm a bit of a baby. I do my normal work, and then I think, oh, I need to take some time off for myself. You know, you hang out, you do your bits and bobs, you watch a bit of TV, you do some leisure stuff, and all your time's gone. I actually here want to speak for the person. Look, if you were the person in the first camp who can just get loads of stuff done, you'd already be doing it. If you're like me, and I think this is really reasonable and accepting of, you're just a normal person. You're a normal person. Perhaps you're not focused on greatness, but you kind of do want to figure out how you can spend a bit of your time doing this. You've got to bring all of your commitments together to actually finally start posting on YouTube. Well, do your commitments and then just make the smallest amount of time possible. Perhaps you're going to do it at a consistent time. Perhaps you're going to set yourself a goal. Perhaps you're going to be accountable. But I think that is the easiest way to balance your commitments. For me, it's lowering all those barriers. If I spend 1 minute a month or 1 minute a week on YouTube, I'm going to post something, and that just might be a feasible option for you as well. The good thing is though, if you actually, and this is what I think for myself, if you actually start posting, you never know where that's going to take you in 3, 4, 5 years time, you know. the brain chemistry changes, perhaps the options you have off the back of starting a YouTube start to change, perhaps your skill level improves, and all of a sudden you become much more enthused. Something that's definitely true in life generally is it's very difficult to all of a sudden get really into something that you don't have any ability in. But if you kind of spin a few plates, you go and do the bit of this, you go and do a bit of that, all of a sudden when the mood strikes in your life, you then can really start devoting lots of time to that, because the the threshold to engage with it is so reduced because you're kind of already spinning that plate. So if you're a little bit fit, or you have a, I don't know, you play badminton a little bit, you kind of get the hang of it. It's a lot easier than just to dive in and really start playing it, because you already kind of know what you're doing, and now all you've really got to do is wait for the right time in your life to strike. Now, the final point I'm going to make is something I've built procrastinating heavily in the past, and that is using templates, using systems to guide the video making process. So I already knew I needed like a hook, perhaps a problem, an intro, some interesting ideas, and then the need to round it up. I know I need to put a title in, and if I want to do some of the kind of like post filming of, okay, how might someone click on it or whatever. If you can create templates and whatever, that's really great. I think for me, the easiest way it's been is have your camera ready and set up, and then before I just did this, A4, a bit of planning, just some rough ideas, and that'll be fine. But then the more refined this process gets up through editing, through uploading, like it has the potential to do that in the future, the easier it will be. But certainly establishing some kind of system so you're not just there, hands in your pockets, just rattling off a load of rubbish, can make the whole process a lot easier. And yeah, that's really, really where I stand with this. I've boiled down the elements of what I need to start working on YouTube, and then in time I'd hope to progress them. I've just really got to have the humility and the patience to accept all of these things are going to be rubbish right now. I might not get any views. I might not get a single view for months and months and months, but eventually I'll meet that critical mass where my skills will be at a certain point, or I'll just start to kind of get it. So I'll kind of get the SEO, or the kind of like what makes a good title. I'll figure out like, oh yeah, that's what makes a good thumbnail. I'll start speaking coherently. My ideas will be less jumbled. I'll be more concise. Who knows? I might even be good at editing, or I might find a way to outsource that effectively. I might find a way to do some paid work and then leverage the money I earn from that to pay for a YouTube editor. I'll figure things out as I go, and I need to accept that. For now, they might be rubbish, and that's okay. If you want to do YouTube, don't worry about the quality, and that's really simple, but I've explained to you what that really means. Find something interesting to talk about and talk about it. I hope this helps you. This has been really pivotal in helping me evaluate the way I approach YouTube as a keen procrastinator and perfectionist. So I hope it helps. Bye.